Welcome back to this module looking at 12 keys for church growth. This is part 2. Last time we covered the first 4 keys. Number 1, strong prayer ministry, constant prevailing prayer. Number 2, clear God-given vision and strategic planning. Number 3, life-giving worship services. Number 4, relevant life-giving preaching and teaching. Let's continue. Number 5, build a high caliber ministry team and staff. One person, the pastor, can't do everything, no matter how omnicompetent they may be. The key is to raise up a high caliber team of gifted ministries. Let me give you 10 ideas. A. Select prayerfully, carefully, slowly, and with due diligence. B. Choose people with specific competencies and skills that match the role and objectives you have that you're hoping to be accomplished in that particular area of ministry. For example, children's or youth. C. Develop them personally and proactively. For example, provide reading for them, send them to specific conferences, or maybe pay for them to go to Bible college. D. Write detailed position descriptions for each team member. E. Build a sense of team among them so that their vocabulary is we and not I. F. Have regular team meetings, for example, on the same day of the week at the same time. G. Keep them focused on the church vision. Cast the church vision and values often to the team. Don't be afraid of repetition. It is a way to get the message through. H. On a yearly or biannual basis, review the effectiveness of the team members against the vision of the church and their position description. I. Build relationship with them on a personal level. Give them access to you. Make yourself available to them. Plan retreats together. Have fun together and get to know each other. And J. Ensure that you have a right ratio of team members to the number of people you minister to. Rather than appoint team members based on the number of members alone, gauge the ratio on the number of people the church is actually servicing through their programs and ministries. This would include things like the core members, the constituents or the congregation, and the persons served in the mission and the outreach programs as well. The rule of thumb is 1 pastoral team member for every 150 people. It's best to appoint high caliber administrators in the church departments as well before appointing an additional pastoral team member in that area. Number 6, develop a soul-winning culture. Equip and mobilize the church to intentionally reach lost people. How do we do that? Well, here are 10 more ideas. A. Build a soul-winning culture rather than just rely on event-driven evangelism. B. Give a salvation altar call in every service. C. Equip people with the skills of how to be a witness in their everyday world. D. Bring in evangelists to equip the church for evangelism and to conduct evangelistic campaigns. E. Plan outreach events to supplement the church's ongoing personal soul winning. F. Engage with the community in any and every way possible to show the love of Jesus in practical and tangible ways. G. Regularly have people share their testimony of salvation. This is powerful. H. Begin a new Christians class to ground new believers in the faith. I. Train people to disciple new converts, but do so in such a way that they're being trained to disciple others so that they can disciple others. Develop a network of small groups, some people call them life groups, and orientate leaders to embrace and integrate new Christians. Number 7, equip the people for life and ministry. Equip the church through practical training to live their Christian lives and serve in an area of gifting. And here are 10 more ideas. A. Embrace the biblical teaching of Ephesians 4 verses 11 to 16 that one of our primary roles as ministers is to equip the people to serve the Lord in and through his body, the church. B, develop pathways for people to grow from spiritual infancy to maturity. C, develop or utilize and identify your gift course. D, develop a Leadership 101 course for all emerging or potential leaders. E, provide courses that equip people to live their lives in the real world. For example, a stewardship course, or a marriage course, or a raising kids course. F, preach grounded messages which contain a lot of application, the how to, and what we need to say so that they can remember what we have been talking about. Remember Howard Hendricks' quote, "There is a lot of exhortation, but no explanation." So make it applicable. G, preach and teach on Paul's body metaphor so people understand that each person has a part to play. H, appoint a leader whose sole responsibility is the development of people. I, constantly direct the ministry team or the department leaders to identify places where people can serve and to develop ways in which people can serve and be validated in their respective roles. In J, as senior leader, allocate time for the development of your ministry team and key leaders. Number 8, intentional development of leaders. Develop an infrastructure to sustain growth. Develop pathways for the development of leaders and develop a structure that can facilitate future and accelerated growth. And here are 10 ideas. A, develop a process for identifying emerging potential leaders. Write or find courses for training emerging potential leaders. C, instruct new leaders in the vision and values of the church. D, train existing leaders in discipleship so they are equipped to disciple others to disciple others. E, facilitate regular meetings with all the church leaders so that they hear your heart, vision and prophetic direction for the church. F, organize a clear organizational structure with defined tiers and lines of communication and responsibility. G, communicate the structure so the leaders clearly know who they relate to about what. H, mentor the department ministry leaders in how to lead the leaders under their care and responsibility. And I, maintain a good balance between lay leaders and pastoral staff. And J, develop an expanding model for small group ministry. Find a model or structure that serves your growing needs. Number 9, specific programs for different demographics in the church, especially youth and kids. Provide specific ministries for the multifaceted groups within the church and the surrounding community. Here are some ideas. A, prioritize children's ministry. B, prioritize youth ministry. C, develop specific ministry for men and women that address their specific needs. D, develop ministry for the aged and honor them. E, note the social groupings in your community and develop outreach programs specifically targeted at them. For example, refugees or youth at risk. F, identify cultural demographics that need an identity and specific ministry. When I was pastoring, we began to see a big influx of migrants into our church. So we began specific services for them in their heart language outside of the Sunday services. And we always wanted Sunday to be a celebration of the nations as one body. And we also provided simultaneous translation of the sermon into 10 different languages to help people feel part of us. G, engage in the local schools in whatever way possible. For example, chaplaincy or after-school programs or feeding programs. We were astounded how many children go to school hungry, so a feeding program was a very popular and helpful way at engaging kids. H, support other churches in their initiatives. Like we used to give clothes to the Salvation Army, and we would always combine together with at Christmas time so that we didn't avoid or duplicate what other churches were doing. I encourage you to think kingdom. And I give the various ministries profile in Sunday services, and J, advertise the programs and key events. And that's where we'll leave part 2. We have one final session left in this series, which will cover the remaining 3 keys. I look forward to seeing you then. God bless you.